Hey, Dan from Michigan again. Good afternoon. This is afternoon today. I'm normally talking in the morning, but uh, had to work early today. So I got home and I started working today, and I was thinking about the one thing that has kind of always been a feather in my cap, I guess you could say. It came at a time when I was a little confused about things. What I did is I actually quit a job that I had pretty much liked, but had some circumstances going around it without anything else to do and without any income coming in. So now I had to create what's next. And as I mentioned in another video, that's always a good question. What's next? How can I do it? The more you think about those things, the more ideas come into your head. And because you're telling yourself constantly, I need to find something else. What can I do? What would I like? And here it is in the middle of December, actually beginning of December. And what pops into my head? I would like to start a lawn business. Now, why would a lawn business pop into your head in the middle of December, right? But I was asking myself, what would I like to do? Well, I like to be outside. I like physical labor. I like have something I can go after and build on my own. The guy that I paid doing my lawn did a really nice job. I thought, man, he's in and out of there pretty doggone quick, and I pay him pretty good money to do my lawn. So why not me start a business like that? So I sat down and I thought, well, what's the best way to do this? Now, mind you, I got no money. I got no lawn equipment because I had somebody paid to do my lawn, so I never had any lawn equipment. I have no experience commercially how to cut a lawn, but I've cut a lawn. I've cut a lot of lawns as a kid, right? So I thought, okay, how can I do this? Didn't have a lot of money, remember, because I took a second job or took a different job after I quit the first one. And it was paying somewhat the bills, but a long way to go. So thought, all right, I'm going to make up a flyer and I'm going to save some money. I'm going to put 2 flyers on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It's going to be just black and white because that's the cheapest way to print it. And I am going to go out every day and put out as many of these as I can. And so where am I going to do it? Well, I'm going to do it in the area I lived in was in Warren, Michigan. And it's a fairly dense populated area, a lot of smaller homes, tract homes, and a lot of straight streets, not too many porches that are high, a lot of 2-3 step porches. And I had a business running sales crews for newspapers for years. And when, when I wanted to recruit new kids, I would put flyers out in neighborhoods. I'd have my crew put flyers out, and we could take 10 kids and put out, 1,000 flyers in an hour before work. And that would start generating more new names of kids that might want to work. So I thought I'm going to put out flyers on my spare time. I started putting out 200 flyers every day, middle of December, middle of January, middle of February, middle of March, 3 months, about 25 days out of the month. So I put out about 5,000 a month. So almost 15,000 flyers I got out. Now I picked Warren because it had nice boundaries. I could know right where I'd start. 8 mile to 14 mile to Quinder to Hayes. That was all Warren. So I knew it. So I was going to start going every single street. Now, that was a good strategy too. It was a good strategy too because it also meant that I wouldn't have to do a lot of traveling to get to the next job, right? If I can get several all my customers within that area, which was basically about a 8 square mile area at the most, 10 square mile area. But it would, be over a week's time that I'd be doing it. In my head, I'm figuring. So anyway, I started putting out flyers middle of December, middle of January, no calls. I set up a special back then. You could get like a phone number that was just a voicemail. That's all it was. People would call in, didn't ring anywhere. It was just go right to it, and you could check it. I would check in every day, nothing. Middle of February, nothing. Like, man, people got to be calling sooner or later. It's getting close to spring now. There's got to be people that want their lawns. And so I thought, well, if they do call, I need to be ready. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create a contract where I can have them pay for the first 2 weeks or half the season, if I'll give them a discount, or the whole season, give them a little bigger discount. Certain number of weeks, wherever you live in your area, it might be, different, the amount of time that you actually have to cut. I believe mine came out to like 36 weeks. So I based it on 36 weeks. And I figured, I'd asked around, I knew what I paid for my lawn, so I figured, around the same. And this is 2001. So this is 25 years ago, right? So what they charge for lawns today, a little bit more, you can make more money, right? Everything's more though. The gas is about the same, but the equipment's more. So anyway, finally, middle of March, start getting calls. And I mean, lots of calls. So I guess these people just held onto the flyer and thought, well, I'll give them a call, in the spring. And I had all kinds of people call. I had people that had never had their lawn cut before, just thinking, what would it cost me? I had people that had their lawn cut and were seeing if they could get a better deal. And then I had people that weren't happy with the people that had done their lawn and wanted somebody else. So my biggest sales pitch was, look, I'm just going to have a couple 21-inch mowers. I'm just going to use like a regular lawnmower to cut your lawn. I'm not going to come out to those big mowers and rough up your lawn or anything like that. So, give me a shot and we'll see how it goes. And if you pay for the first 2 weeks, then I'll know you're a customer. And this is how many weeks I'm going to cut. You'll get 2 free weeks to opt out if you want, if the weather's too dry or you're not going to be around or whatever. I expect payment on a weekly basis unless you make other arrangements. So when I get done, I'll come up to the house. And if you're not there, then, just mail it in. I got 70 customers, 70. And they all signed the contract. I had 2 people pay for the year, 1 for half the year. Remember it like it was yesterday. And so, I'm trying to think I think I had around $3,500 altogether. Again, I had bills to pay. So I'm like, this gives me some money for that. But I also needed to get equipment. So my dad owned a hardware store. He had 1 good used lawnmower and I bought 1 new one from him. My brother had a nice weed whacker. I bought it off of him. It was a commercial one, actually. I bought a handheld blower. I bought a brand new push behind edger and some of the other little stuff that you needed to get things going. Now, I had a minivan, Dodge Caravan. What am I going to do? So I didn't want to destroy the van. I wanted to be able to use it for, our family when we need it. So I got some wood that I had laying around, made myself a box basically on the sides and the bottom and the back of the vehicle where I could roll everything up there, fit both of the mowers in, the weed whacker, the edger, the bag thing that you put the bag, you put the bags, the plastic thing that goes inside of it to stand the bags up so you can pour grass into it, because I knew I was going to have to bag it. And bada boom, I had a lawn business. And didn't cost me all that much money to get things going. I think I spent about $1,000 out of that. The rest of I put a few hundred aside for maintenance, and then I paid some bills with the rest. No money. Basically, the only investment I had was those flyers. I was able to work the stuff right out of my house, didn't have to rent a building or anything like that. And I had 70 customers. And it rained like a mother all spring. I was behind the whole time trying to get going. And I kind of want to tell you what happened. I had that business for 5 years, and I think I'll make a second video kind of on that. But the point of this video was I was thinking about what could I do next. I was going to be making about $1,500 a week with this. And that was good money back in 2000, okay? That was pretty good money, $1,500 a week gross. Of course, I had gas to pay, and I had maintenance of the vehicle, of the mowers with blade sharpening and stuff like that. But it wasn't too bad because I started with, fairly good equipment. And I also put aside every week like a couple $100 to just in case, right? And I did have some in cases, okay? The one of the mowers died not that long later. I needed to hire some help at one point because I was just so far behind. But, it was going pretty good. It went really good the first year. And the point is, I started a business with nothing. You can do it too. In today's world, depending on where you live, you could still start a business like this. I chose to have all residential customers because I figured, hey, if I lose 1 or 2 or 3 residential customers, it's 25, 50, $75 a week that I lose. If I'd have just gone after getting a commercial customer right off the bat, and I lost that commercial customer for whatever reason, half of my income or all of my income is gone, I didn't want that happening. And besides, I was going to start back my other business at some point as well. So I thought, let's see how this goes. And I think I'll make a second video. I'm going to make another video and we'll follow up with that on how the next 5 years of the business went. Probably would have kept it longer. Some situations happened in my life that made my eyes wake up. My mom got cancer for the second time. My kids were growing up and I was working 2 businesses and not seeing them. And I made up in my mind, it's like, you know what? Life's too short. So I ended up selling it after 5 years, which worked out all right too. So we'll talk about that in the next video. But look, you can start, there could be other kind of businesses. But I'm just saying, this was something that came to me just from thinking about what can I, how can I make this work? How can I find something else to do besides when I was selling furniture in a business that the only thing I loved the sales, I loved the job. I just felt trapped. I wanted something to give me that freedom again. And it did. And it could for you as well. So without getting too long on this, I'd love to hear your comments. Have you ever done anything like that? Have you ever started a business on your own with nothing and just were able to make it go? Do you have some questions about how you might do this? I can get more into detail if you really want to know more about exactly what I did and the equipment I used and that kind of thing and what I would suggest. But I'm going to make a second video that'll talk a little bit more about what happened from that first year and what I learned and what I'd moved going on to the second, third, and fourth, and fifth year, okay? So thanks for listening, taking patience with me, and I hope you got something out of this. If you're at a point right now in your life where you need to make some changes or make some additional income and you're not afraid of some hard work and you're in an area where you got plenty of people, this might be an idea for you and you can help make it go. And right now, this video is going to come out beginning of March. There's still time to start for this year, even though it's already starting to get ramped up for depending on where you live again. But you still could blitz with flyers real quick, get a bunch of people together, put them flyers out right away and start a lawn business of your own if that's what you want to do. But this will be good next year too. So anyway, thanks for your time and we'll see you again.